Hello, welcome to Kraftwerker. First in the series, which I'm really hoping will take off. It is classic rig rundowns, nothing unusual in that, except for the fact that we're not going for pro rigs and pro artists. There is, we've mentioned this so many times before, there are immensely good sounding bands out there on YouTube land, most of them independent metal bands, sludge bands, doom bands, all sorts. I don't want to be genre specific. Albums sound amazing, and for the layman, let me say it would be nice to hear how they have achieved that. So this is the first in the series. The band is called TSO, and the way we're going to run these is I'll give you a quick introduction of the band, listen to a full track with or without video, and then in the end I will do an overview, because they've sent me a nice list of how they actually achieved the recording. I would prefer any bands who's interested in taking part in this, please get in contact with me. I would prefer if they did their own thing, if they did a quick video that they can send me, where they explain the gear that they use and the location that they did it. You know, I think that is a little bit more realistic. However, in this case, we've got TSO. They transcribed the really good write-up of the gear that they used, especially the equipment, the studio, and a bit of the process. And so what we're going to do now is have a quick listen to one of their songs, one of their tracks off the last album, and after that we'll do a quick rig rundown. Sounds good, doesn't it? Cool.
Walks in my voice.
So there you have it, and I think we can agree that is a good sounding track. And as you can see with the video, they obviously spend a lot of time. A hard-working band, always nice to see. So what I'm gonna do is break everything before I carry on. So what we have here is a quick rundown of this is what they sent me. So I will copy all of the stuff as well in the description, and we'll also have a blog section on Kraftwerke where we will post these. So this is the band. It's called TSO, and the album is called Hearth. So they are from Italy, and the video is from the song of the Hearth album called Icarus. Band members Andrea, Marco, Federico, Sebastiano, and they come from Trieste in Italy. Apologies if I mispronounce that. They are part of a record label, IRMA Records. A quick overview of the band. So I received everything from them, so it should be as accurate as possible. TSO is a power trio from the northeast of Italy who play sludge, rock, blues and alternative rock, founded in 2013. Their debut album was Insanity. Now if you go to Bandcamp you will see that there. The album's 6 compositions remind the sound of bands such as Alice in Chains, Neurosis. They also love, or most likely inspired by, bands like Queens of Stone Age, Nirvana, Soundgarden, King Crimson, 70s progressive music, 90s grunge, Genesis, Black Sabbath, Led Zeppelin, Beatles. Anyway, most of this will be readable because I want to get to the actual rundown. So as you can see here, we've got all the details. If you want to support the band, please do so. All the links will be in the description as well. Studio equipment. Now this is where it gets interesting. Studio equipment and backline for recording the album Hearth. So this is the album, and this track is from this album. The album was recorded live in Pro Tools at El Motore del Auto in Udine, Italy, by Andrea Rigonat. All 4 of us in the same room. Drums, bass, guitars, vocals, violin, and some overdubs have been made later. Guitars and bass went straight into radial DI box. We eventually reamped. Perfect. The bass sound is made with a 1996 Fender jazz bass, jazz bass made in Mexico. Only neck pickup has been used, which is a copy of a 60s custom shop, reamped into a 1974 Ampeg VB, V4B combined with Marshall 4x12 speaker. Now this is a really good way of doing bass, a bass cab combined with a 4x12 cab made for guitar. You get a nice punch out of that. Speakers are Rolla Celestions G1280s distorted sound made with a full tone fuzz. So I pulled up this amp, the Ampeg, and there we are. This is the one here. There we are. Nice little picture of it. So in the live recording, Andrea used his Telecaster thin line reissue equipped with Seymour Duncan distortion. Federico used his Gibson Studio SG equipped with Seymour Duncan JBs. Most solos were made with a 1970s Gibson Les Paul custom owned by the studio. Very gracious. Some overdubs were recorded with a Gretsch Duo Jet. I love the Duo Jets. They are incredibly sounding guitars. Owned by Filippo Vino, the studio assistant. To reamp guitars, they had their own amps. 1977 Fender Twin Reverb. The circuit is modified into a 60s Blackface 85 watt equipped with Jensen speakers, and a 1978 Ampeg V2 head 40 watts. They also used a diesel 100 watt, and they divided by 13 30 watt tube heads that were at the studio. So there's a lot of different guitar sounds in the album. Listen to the album, that comes across quite well. The cool thing was that every head was running through a signal combiner. I don't remember the brand, they say, so we had the chance to listen to guitar parts through every head and choose the best for every song. Very good way of doing it. give yourself a hell of a lot of choices, which means that you'll be making decisions for the next 5 years. The GLB 4x12 guitar cabinet, manufactured in Italy, was used, equipped with Celestion V30s. Now this is cool because I pulled them up. This is a cab manufacturer, GLB Sound. In Italy, they obviously make some interesting cabs. So have a wee look at them as well. That might be interesting. Andrea used the Love Tone Big Cheese fuzz for rhythms and solos. Most of the rhythm distortion of the Ampeg V2 were made with a TSO VH4 pedal. Interesting. We used a bunch of other pedals from the studio. I don't remember brands and models. Now I remember speaking to them on email backwards and forwards, and apparently these guys are gearheads. Sounds like it by the looks of things. They also go into the drums used. The drums was DW Finnish ply maple. All these things are in the description. Ludwig Supraphonic 14 by 6.5 Remo skins, mics. So they were very good at describing which mics were used for what. So the Ribera R47 MKI is a copy of a Telefunken ELA M251E, was used for vocals, acoustic guitars and drums front. Neumann M149 mono drums, room, violin, room and vocals. The Neumann KM184 overhead stereo drums and rooms. Sennheiser MD421 for bass toms guitars. MD441 for the ride. Shure 57 for snare top and bottom bass and guitars. Biodynamic M160 snare top guitars. Audio Technica 8045 OST on guitars, and then the Shure Beta 52 kick and bass, and then Beta 91 for kick in. Quite standard down there, I would suggest, but shows you that even an independent band can actually really work it out in a studio. So what I would like you guys to do, if you enjoyed this video, if you're a band or anything like that, and you want to take part in the series, please get in contact with me. For the rest of you, I would ask you, as always, to support these guys. All their links and information is in the description. Support them by going to Bandcamp, by following them, by subscribing to them, and maybe even doing the odd purchase. Great band, great bunch of guys, and that is it from episode 1. Thank you very much.
you.